everyone, my name is Masha and today I'm here to tier rank my tutorials. Huge thank you to this user on my Discord server for suggesting a video idea that inspired this entire video. If you have a video idea for a video you want me to make sure to join the Discord server and post it in the video suggestions channel. The link to my Discord server is in the description. So I've done quite a few tutorials in the past, and I still do them to this day. I post quite a few tutorials. There's actually a couple coming out soon that I've already filmed that I still need to edit. But yeah, I've done quite a few tutorials and I have mixed opinions about them. So today we're gonna look at some of them and rank them from best to worst. I've done a tier ranking video in the past. I've ranked some classic patterns. If you want to watch that video, the link to that will be in the card and in the description. And also, in case you don't know, I wrote a book. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, and it's a collection of photo tutorials specifically for beginners. It comes out on August 23rd in the US and about a month later everywhere else, and it's available for pre-order now. If you do pre-order, make sure to send a screenshot of your order confirmation to my publisher at rockynook.com/friendship to enter the giveaway. I'm super proud of this book and I hope you enjoy it if you get it. Alright, let's have a look at these tutorials. Starting off strong with the diamond candy stripe tutorial. I just realized I literally have the bracelet on my desk right now, so I might as well show it to you. Now this one is a recent tutorial that I did, so I don't have as much of a sentimental value attached to it as I do to some of my older tutorials, purely because I'm probably like nostalgic for the time, if that makes sense. But this one is definitely a fun one. I had a lot of fun making it, and I still love this pattern. I made this pattern so much when I was a kid, and I can't believe it's taking me this long to make a tutorial for it because this is an amazing bracelet. It's also like in rainbow, and I think that just makes it extra cool. So I'm not putting it in the S tier, purely because, as I said, I'm not like that sentimental about it. There's a few here that I'm like, I love them, S tier, but this is definitely a great tutorial in my opinion, and I'm putting in A. So let's drag that one all the way up to A. Next up, we've got the watermelon bracelet tutorial. Now again, this is a really fun pattern. It's really summery as well, and it is one of those patterns that I really enjoyed growing up and I still really enjoy. So making a tutorial for that one was an absolute no-brainer for me. Also, the context of that tutorial was a bit funny because at the time of filming it, I think I was in quarantine during COVID and I was stuck in Russia, so I couldn't like have all my proper filming equipment. So I was filming outside in my mother-in-law's garden with like her flowers in the background and stuff. So the context of this was really funny, and it was also a little bit awkward to film because I could see neighbors like going around and like kind of looking at me and being like, what the hell is this girl doing in the garden? Just like filming something. So this is just a really fun sort of context around that as well, but I also really love the pattern. I'm tempted to put it in S tier, but again, there's a few here that I feel like deserve that more, so I'm gonna drag this one into A alongside that one. We're starting off really strong. I promise not all of these are gonna be like S and A. There are quite a few here that I'm like not too proud of, but the diamond crust tutorial is one of my favorites. This was pretty much the first or the second. This was this and the starburst bracelet, which isn't on the list actually. As I said, I didn't include all of them because there's too many to include. I just took some of my favorite ones, some of my least favorite ones, and then like some random ones in between. But the diamond cross and the starburst tutorials were the first two and pretty much the only two bracelets that I did tutorials for that are really complex, that have a bunch of different stuff coming together. Those two patterns, in my opinion at least, are absolutely iconic. So many people love them, so many people make them, which is why I really did want to include a tutorial so that more people could make this bracelet. But my god, it took me forever to film and to edit just because there's so many steps that go into it. But because of that, and because it's such an iconic pattern, I am very proud of this video, so I am dragging that up in A as well. The Starry Night bracelet is a favorite of mine as well, although I haven't really made it since I filmed that tutorial, purely because it's like complex to make. I did do that one, and then I also did the doubled version of it, where you kind of put the two patterns together and make it wider. So I did do two of those, but they are like really tedious to make because you have to like make that hole and the shaped sides. So I haven't really made any since then, but that's definitely a really fun bracelet. I feel like it's a bracelet that you need to try to make at least once because it's so cool and unique. But yeah, I didn't end up making more of those purely because it was like so tedious to do that. I'm gonna put this one in B, and I consider B to be a good result. So S tier for me is something that's like monumental to me on my channel that I just absolutely love. I feel like you kind of know what is gonna go in there. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you might know what I put there. A is something that's close to that, but not quite. B is something that I really enjoy, but I don't have like super strong feelings about. C is something that like, didn't quite get there. And D is like, no, absolutely hated it. Don't know if I'm gonna be putting anything in D, but that's just kind of what my tier ranking system is, if that makes sense. The stitched chevron, I love that one. I went through a phase with my channel where I was making tutorials for a bunch of different variations of the chevron, which we kind of see here. We've got the regular chevron first of all, we've got the stitched chevron, we've got the distorted chevron, which is coming up next, the polka dot chevron, the fishbone chevron. There's so many different variations of the chevron. Refracted chevron, which isn't on the list but exists as well. I'm probably forgetting a few, but there's so many different variations of this chevron. And the reason I made so many tutorials on it is because that pattern is so easy to make. All of the variations of the chevron are pretty much just the chevron with like 1 or 2 tweaks, but these 1 or 2 tweaks create really cool and different designs, and I really love that. So I went through a phase like that, and that was one of my favorite phases on my channel. I was just posting different chevron tutorials all the time. The stitch chevron is definitely one of my favorites. I made a bunch of those. I did a whole collection of them, I think. Actually, all of them I did. So I might as well kind of talk about all of them at the same time. We've got the stitch chevron, the distorted chevron, and the polka dot chevron. All 3 of those I made so many bracelets with. I really enjoyed making those. Those were really, really fun. So I'm putting all 3 of them in A. I'm sorry. These are all, I love them. I love them to bits. They're my favorites. That was a sort of, as well, just a very sort of, it was a good time, you know? Like, it was a good time on my channel. It was a good time in my life. So some nostalgia is popping through there as well. That was a good time. I'm really proud of those tutorials. Coming up though, the next bracelet, I called it the segment knotting tutorial. I never really gave that bracelet a name. Not too proud of that one. So context on that one, that tutorial was posted close to the beginning of my channel, so close to like 2018. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing yet, if that makes sense, and I also had just discovered the straight edge technique tutorial. So this was a tutorial in which I included the straight edge technique to kind of help, I guess, explain the bracelet, but I feel like it made it more complicated unnecessarily. I feel like I could have explained that bracelet without the straight edge technique first of all, because it wasn't really necessary. There are some bracelets where it's really, really helpful, some bracelets where it's not. It kind of depends on whether or not the bracelet is balanced, if that makes sense. And I don't think that this pattern necessarily needed it. And because I had just kind of discovered it, I really wanted to share it, but I just don't think that it was necessary. I feel like it made the tutorial too convoluted. It confused more people than it helped. So I'm gonna put this one in C. I'm not putting it in D. Actually, I am. I'm putting it in D. I'm not happy with this one. I'm not happy with it. I feel like it didn't really help people. Maybe I should read the comments. Full disclosure, I didn't rewatch any of these tutorials before filming this video, nor did I really look at the comments, to be fair. I check the comments on my channel in general, so like if you do post a comment, I will see it, but I didn't actually go through and look at the comments while I was preparing for this video. So maybe people did find it helpful. I don't know. I just don't feel like it was good enough. If I were filming that video today, I would have filmed it very differently, is my point. The braided stitch tutorial, that is an absolutely iconic pattern. I love that pattern. Again, this is one of those that I made a bunch of growing up. It's a favorite of mine, so I definitely had to make a tutorial on that pattern, and I'm so happy that I did. I don't have too much of an emotional attachment to this though, so I'm gonna put it in B instead of A. I enjoyed it, it was fun, but I don't like absolutely love it, the video or the bracelet. It's just like, good one. Next up, we've got the circle bracelet. Pretty much feel the same way about that one. The circle bracelet tutorial was very, very early days. I didn't even have my lighting system set up yet, so the lighting in the video is really weird. And this is what I recommend to everyone. Just go for it. Like, when I started filming videos for this channel, I didn't have any setup whatsoever. I was just filming in front of a window to hopefully get some kind of natural light in. And I really have that perfectionist mentality. I really didn't want to film videos until I had everything perfectly. You might not know, I started this channel in 2015. I started this channel and I filmed videos in Russian first. I don't know why I started in Russian, I don't know why I switched to English in the end, but that's just what happened. And I filmed a couple of videos in Russian and then I stopped because I psyched myself out too much. I really wanted everything to be perfect. I didn't like the way that things were going because I didn't have a proper camera. I didn't have proper editing equipment. I didn't even have a tripod. I was filming like kind of, it was a mess. And I didn't have any lighting. I didn't have anything, and I psyched myself out too much, and I thought that it was horrible. Nobody's gonna watch this. Nobody cares. This is boring. And then in 2018, when I revived this channel because I was bored, I psyched myself out so much before I finally sat down and did it. I knew I wanted to do this, and I thought about reviving my channel for years before I actually did. But at one point I just told myself, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, I just have to sit down and do it. I just have to. And then if it does take off, if it does go well, I can always buy equipment later. There's no point in buying equipment before you start, because what if you don't like it? What if people don't find it interesting? What if, you know, what ifs? There's a bunch of what ifs. So just start, just do it, and get the equipment as you go along. So now I'm very happy with my setup and everything, but back then, obviously I didn't have any lights. Point is just do it. If you want to do it, just do it. I highly recommend that. But yeah, no, that's not to deter from this video. The fact that I didn't have any lighting in this video, I'm not saying that to deter from it. I still think it's a very good video. It explained the bracelet and the kind of way you make it quite well. Quite proud of that. It's just kind of like a little piece of nostalgia for me. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one in B as well because I don't have like a super strong emotional attachment to it, but I am very proud of it. And I'm glad I made it. It's a really fun bracelet as well. Like, the circle bracelet is one of my favorites. I've made a bunch of them as well growing up. Haven't really made any since then, but I do have multiple copies of it in my collection from when I did make it a bunch before. Moving on, the vertical wave tutorial. Don't like that one. Don't get me wrong, I love the pattern. In fact, that is the bracelet that I'm giving away for my giveaway for my books. So if you enter a giveaway and you send a screenshot of your pre-order to my publisher, link in the description, that is a bracelet that you will be entered to win along with all the bunch of other stuff that I have, like strings and materials and stuff. There's a little like gift package that you get. Oh, also I have a copy of it literally right here. There we go. So yeah, I definitely still love this pattern, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the tutorial. Again, this was filmed very early days for me. I don't remember if I have lighting set up yet in that one. I don't believe I did. So that's just like how early days that was. And I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't explain it very well, I don't think. I kind of explained it already halfway into the bracelet. It doesn't really make a difference because you start the bracelet the same way as you just continue doing it. It just was confusing to people to see that the tutorial kind of started midway through the bracelet. That didn't make sense to a lot of people. And nowadays, I don't do that anymore because it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. I believe I didn't mention like string lengths and such. In a lot of the early days tutorials, I didn't mention string lengths. I didn't mention kind of string numbers and stuff, like how many you need. That is definitely something that I learnt from comments early days to include later on because duh, it just kind of didn't occur to me at the time. I also don't think I included how to switch strings in that one. So like once you run out of a string, like how to replace it, which is an important part. I don't quote me on that. I don't remember if I did, but I don't think I did. Point is, there's a lot of stuff that kind of was slightly off with that video, and I don't blame myself for it because again, this was one of the first tutorials I've ever filmed, and I'm very proud that I did, and I'm very glad that I did, but it's not the best quality of work from me, and I have learnt a lot since then. So yeah, I'm putting this one in C. I don't dislike it as much as the one that is in D, because that one I just felt like was completely unnecessary and didn't help many people. This one I still think is helpful, but just could have made it better, you know? We're getting into my favorite ones. In fact, oh, the arrowhead is here twice because I had troubles with this tier list maker and now I can't remove it for some reason, so it's here twice. Ignore that last one. We're getting into my favorite territory. In fact, all of these are going in the S tier. We've got the arrowhead bracelet, the fishbone chevron, the daisy chains, and the chevron. All four of these are going in the S tier, so let me just do that real quick before I continue speaking about them. The arrowhead bracelet ended up being the cover of my book, which I was not expecting. When I took that photo, there was no way you could have told me in that moment that that photo was gonna end up on the cover of a book that I wrote, because what? You know, like I couldn't even fathom that I would write a book one day about friendship bracelets. That was not something that was even on my radar. So it's crazy that that is now on the cover of my book. So just purely because of that, the arrowhead bracelet means a lot to me now. Also, it was definitely a favorite bracelet of mine growing up. I love the arrowhead. And of course I made a collection of it. There's like a billion of them on the cover. So this is definitely a really fun one. It also had like a really good reception. Like you guys really enjoyed that tutorial, so that one means a lot to me. The fishbone chevron bracelet is probably the favorite tutorial I have ever made. And that was the first video that I published on this channel when I revived it. So again, like I posted a couple of videos in Russian first, but that was the first video that I published in 2018 when I decided, okay, I'm actually going to do this. And that video really took off straight away, pretty much. It started getting like thousands and thousands of video views really quickly, and I started gathering these people who were coming in and being like, oh, hey, this is cool. Like, we want to see more. Do you have anything else to share? And I was like, wow, okay, I can actually share some more with you guys because I had plenty more to share. And so I made another video and then another video, and we kind of snowballed from there, and here we are. But I love that bracelet as well. And that was also relatively early days for me in terms of understanding how to break patterns down in a way that is understandable for beginners. Like, because obviously I made bracelets for so long, it took me a while to figure out how to explain how to make bracelets. And once I figured out that massive pattern only really had 2 rows, and those 2 rows were incredibly simple because one of them is a chevron and the other one is kind of just like the reverse of a chevron. Kind of. It's a really simple bracelet to make, and it's such a cool pattern as well. I was thrilled when I figured that out. I was like, I have to make a tutorial on this. This is the one that I'm gonna revive it with. So that bracelet, special place in my heart pretty much forever, I think. I think I'm always gonna love that bracelet. So yeah, definitely S tier for me. The daisy chain bracelet as well. I love that one. As you can see, I made a massive collection of those. There's like a billion of them. I think I gave all of them away. I don't remember the context of that, but I remember giving all of them away. I think it was like a competition or a challenge that I did last year. Remind me, please. But those bracelets definitely exist somewhere. Somebody has them. A few of you guys have them. I love that pattern. It's a super cool pattern. I was very excited to make a tutorial on it, and you guys really enjoyed the tutorial once it came out, so love it. S tier, favorite. The chevron tutorial, the classic chevron tutorial, is the most popular video on my channel. It's surpassed 1 million views. I think it's got like 1.5 currently, which is absolutely crazy to me because I didn't want to film that video. When I posted that video, I was posting it and I thought nobody was going to watch it. I thought there was 1 million tutorials of the chevron bracelet already available, so nobody's gonna watch this one. I don't know why I'm posting this. This is not gonna go anywhere. Nobody's gonna watch it. Nobody's gonna care. But I posted it anyway because I was like, okay, might as well. And then it's the most popular video on my channel now, so that's just insane to me. So that was just like very important to my channel. It was also, again, filmed during like the peak days, I think, of my channel. I had such a good time back then, like back when I was filming videos for this channel at university. Mwah, top tier, it was great. If you were there at the time, definitely leave a comment, I'd like to know. So yeah, I absolutely love that bracelet. I absolutely love that video. So it's definitely going into S tier as well. So this is the final kind of ranking that I've got. Nice to see that most of the tutorials that I picked for this, I actually like. It's a good result, good for me. So yeah, let me know if you would rank something differently. I would love to hear your opinion because I make these tutorials for you. So it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on this as well. And as a reminder, the beginner's guide to friendship bracelets comes out on August 23rd in the US, and about a month later everywhere else, and you can pre-order now. Send a screenshot of your order confirmation to my publisher at rockynook.com/friendship to enter the giveaway. I'm super excited and happy about this book, so I'm gonna be shouting about it from the rooftops, so you're gonna see it in a bunch of videos coming up. And if you do buy it, I really hope you enjoy it just as much as I do. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons as well, and especially my top supporters. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, and if you also want to become a patron, the link to that is in the description. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!